notifications. If you're new to my channel and you're stopping by for the first time, thank you for stopping by. Welcome to my channel. Stick around a while by clicking that red button for more crafting on a budget, more everything on a budget videos to come. And if you click it again when the bell appears, YouTube should notify you every time I'm uploading a new video, depending on the option that you choose in the drop-down menu of the bell. If you're interested in following me on social media, you can find those links in the description box below. What have I got going on for you for today? Today I am bringing to you a DIY using these wood wire brushes that you can get at the Dollar Tree in the tool section. Now, I have used these in a DIY before, and I gotta tell you, as excited as I was about that DIY, it was one of those where the crowd was kind of rough. It didn't go over real well with a lot of people, and so I'm gonna say that today's DIY using these brushes is redemption. I love the DIY that I came up with using these. Today's DIY, I put kind of an artistic spin on it, which I'm kind of excited about. I can't wait to show you what I've come up with this. This is a budget-friendly DIY. The outcome is so rustic. I'm not gonna say farmhouse, but it is rustic. So let's not waste any more time. Let's jump into it and let me show you what I have in mind for today's DIY using these wood wire brushes that you can get from the Dollar Tree in the tools section. Let's get started. So these are the brushes. You're gonna need 9 of them. Again, you can find these wood wire brushes in the tools section at the Dollar Tree. I wanna say these are used for cleaning grills. At least that's what I use mine for. We're gonna start off by removing the wire bristles. These are really easy to remove just by taking some pliers and at the base of the bristle, just kind of grabbing it and twisting. You can see that it pops out fairly easy. They're just tacked in. They're not even glued in, so these come out pretty easy. I wanna say it took me maybe 20 minutes to take out all of the wires and all 9 brushes. Now I know that that sounds like a hideous job, but we need this wood. And I'm using this wood because of the shape of it. It's not a flat piece of wood. And so later on, you'll see what I mean by that. Some of you may be saying, why not just go to Lowe's and cut up regular wood? Because I want my wood to have a curve to it. And so it's gonna add character to this DIY, and I think that this is a great alternative and a great way to do today's DIY. When I say that this wood isn't flat, it really isn't. It's got a very slight curve to it, which I absolutely love. When I saw these, I knew that this was gonna be perfect for this DIY. Once you get those wire bristles out, you're gonna be left with some splinters on your wood, so you're gonna wanna take some sandpaper and just smooth it out a bit. You can get sandpaper at the Dollar Tree. They've got a 25 pack by Tool Bench, which is an amazing buy. Then I'm gonna go in with some of Dollar Tree's spackling. This is by Tool Bench. Again, another great buy. I'm gonna go in right with my fingers, grab some of that spackling and fill in these holes. And again, yes, I am gonna do this to all 9 brushes. It may seem like a hideous job. I think I said that before, but it really doesn't take long. And again, we're crafting, we're DIYing. We love to do this stuff. It gives us something to do while we're staying at home and staying safe. I bet you thought we were done, but we're not. There's this hole on the side that the strap was attached to, and so we're gonna wanna fill that in too with some spackling because we want this piece of wood to be hole free. I've got all my holes filled up. Now you can do this one of 2 ways. You can go over this with a damp sponge to smooth it out, or you can just let this dry and lightly sand it once it's dry. I'm gonna lightly sand it once it's dry. And just like that, with the magic of YouTube, my spackling is dry, so I'm gonna go over this with some sandpaper and I'm gonna smooth this out the best that I can. And did I say you do need to do this with all 9 of them? I know, but trust me, the DIY and the outcome of this is going to be amazing. And just like that, we have got a smooth piece of wood where all the holes are filled in and nobody is gonna be none the wiser that they were once there. Now let's get to the fun part, as if we weren't already having fun with this DIY. I'm gonna take 5 of the 9 wood pieces and I'm gonna measure out 6 inches and I'm gonna do it on the side where we filled in the holes. And I'm gonna do that to all 5 of these. Now taking some of Apple Barrel's bright red and burnt umber. These are both in the matte finish because I am not a gloss finish girl. I'm going to use the red, and to darken up the red, I'm going to put just a bit of the dark brown umber in it because I'm a rustic girl. I want to mute out this red. I don't like the bright, vibrant red for this DIY. And so to make it a bit more rustic and to mute it out, if you just add a bit of brown, you don't want to add black because the black is going to give it kind of a darker gray tinge. I want to just mute out the red again and darken it up a bit. And you can do that very easily by adding brown to it and yet still keeping that red undertone. Now going back to the sticks that we marked 6 inches, on the side where the dots are, we're not going to paint that just yet. We're just going to paint the bottom half of these, and we're going to do 3 of them red, and we're going to paint all 4 sides of the bottom half of this stick. And so out of the 5 that we marked, you should have 3 of them that look just like this, and you should still have 2 left that we marked at the 6-inch mark. You should have 4 sticks left that we didn't mark. You're going to want to take and paint 2 of them red as well. And we're going to do the full stick red. For the rest of these sticks, I will be using some of Waverly's chalk paint in the color of Cashew. I love this color. I'm going to start off with the last 2 sticks that I have that 6-inch marking on. And on the bottom half of these, that's what I'm going to be painting with the Cashew. I'm sure you all know where I'm going with this DIY. I am making the American flag. And I decided to go with this Cashew color because I'm going rustic and white was just going to be too stark for this. And so because I muted out that red with the brown, I figured this Cashew was the perfect color for the white stripes of this flag. And you guessed it, those last 2 sticks, they're going to fully be painted with the Cashew paint as well. For this next step, I am cheating and I will be using these stars by Creatology that I got from Michaels. 130 come in this pack. There's 3 different sizes. I'm going to take the smallest size, and I believe I took 24 of the stars because this flag is not going to be big enough for 50 stars. And so don't yell at me for not doing it correctly. I have done a flag in the past that I did fully proportionate and traditional to the flag, but this is more of an artistic piece, and so I'm going to do the amount of stars that is going to be proportionate with the size. And so I liked these stars. It is going with the wood theme, so I am going to paint these with the Cashew as well. For this next step, you're going to need some tape. I'm using frog tape, painter's tape will do, Dollar Tree's masking tape will do. You're just going to need some tape. We're going to take our tape and we're going to place it right below the pencil mark that we made, that 6-inch mark, but we're going to place it on the side that we painted because we're going to paint the other side now, and we want our line to be nice and clean and crisp. And so to do that, you can very easily achieve a nice clean line by placing some tape, just like I'm doing here. And you're going to tape all 5 pieces that you painted like this. Now taking some of Waverly's chalk paint in the color of Ocean, I'm using the colors that I have on hand, and this blue happens to be the perfect blue for it. Again, with this one, I don't want that stark bright blue. I want to rustic it up. I want to mute it out. And so again, to do that, I will use some of the burnt umber brown, and I'm just going to add that brown until I achieve the blue that I'm happy with. And that blue paint is going to go on the other side of that tape on all 5 of the sticks. Once your paint is dry, when you just peel off that tape, you've got a nice, perfectly clean line that differentiates your 2 colors. Look at how easy it is. It doesn't take a steady hand, it just takes some tape. Now this is where the shape of these wire brushes came into play for me. They've got this curve on them, what I'm going to call an arch. So I'm going to start off by placing the arch up with the red stick. You'll see it here. Then for the second stick, I'm going to flip it and have the arch down. So there's going to be an arch up, then there's going to be an arch down. And I'm going to do that for the entirety of my flag. And you can see how it looks when they're together. I was loving this look. I thought that this was such an artistic way of putting this flag together, instead of just having all of the arches up, I thought, why not flip them? And so the red ones will be up and the white ones will be down. And for this, I'm just gonna use hot glue because I figured it was best to actually place them together and see where I needed to put the glue, because you don't need glue along the whole side. If you put glue along the whole side, some of it's gonna show. So if you just take and place your pieces one by one, you can pretty much see where you need to put the glue, and just by gently kind of pulling it away from the flag, you can see that you can put the glue right on this spot here and this spot here. Then you can place it together and you've somewhat got them together. This is not sturdy by any means, but once we've got this flag fully together, I'm going to flip it over to the back side, and where each of the wood pieces meet, I am just going to hit it with a ton of hot glue, really reinforcing it and keeping these sticks together. Then we're just going to flip it back over to the front side, and on that first slat for the stars, I'm going to place 5 stars on the first slat. And for this, I am not going to use hot glue because I want to be able to reposition these stars once I've got them lined up. And once you put that hot glue, there's no repositioning these. And so I'm going to use some of Crafter's Square wood glue, and it's going to give me a little bit of wiggle room to make sure that all my stars are lined up nicely. And so again, like I said, on this first row, I'm going to put 5, and on the second wood piece, which would be the second row, I'm going to put 4 stars, and I'm going to offset them, putting them in between the stars on the top row. Then repeating this pattern on the third row, I'm going to do 5 stars, and on the fourth row, I'll do 4, and so on and so forth. This is that crossroads of the DIY, the part of the DIY that so many of you have heard before. If you want to be done with this flag and leave it just as it is, crisp and clean, you totally can. You know that I'm going to rustic this up with some of my ink pad, and to do that, I'll be using a brown and a black ink pad and a stiff brush. To apply that ink, I'm going to apply it to these edges because I feel like applying this and distressing it is going to give it that aged look, that burnt look that this flag has had. This flag has been around a while, and so I want to age it, and that is a look that I love. If that is not a look that you like, you can be done once you've gotten your stars put on, but I am not done. We all know that. And so I'm going to go ahead and distress each of these slats and give this that look that this flag has been around a while, that it's been somewhere, that it has some stories to tell. So you're going to end up with this, and this does not look aged and distressed. I know this. This looks like we just slapped on some ink. And so to lighten up these inked shaded areas and distress it a bit more, you are going to want to go in with some sandpaper. You want to use a light grade sandpaper and just lighten up that distressing, make it look a bit uneven, really just kind of take some of it away. And it's going to take you maybe 15 minutes to do, and I promise you the outcome is going to look amazing. You want to go over some of the painted areas and kind of take some of the paint away. It's okay if you go down to the wood a bit. It's just going to add to the character of this DIY. I wanted to take a quick second and show you a side-by-side of before distressing and after. It really is your preference. There is no going wrong with this. I say take what you like, leave what you don't, get creative and make it your own. To hang this piece, I don't really want to use those sawtooth hangers on the back of this. I wanted, again, to add to the rustic feel of this. And so to do that, I'm going to use some of Dollar Tree's nautical rope. Now, I gotta ask you, some of you have made comments in some of my videos about the smell of this rope. I'm not smelling it. What is it that you're smelling? My rope from the Dollar Tree doesn't have a smell. And so, yeah, I can handle it, but some of you have said to me, you can't stand the smell of this rope. And so somebody's got to tell me, what is it that you're smelling? I'm going to take a piece, I'm going to hot glue it to the back of this, and this is going to finish off this flag DIY using these wood wire brushes from the Dollar Tree. This is such a budget-friendly DIY, and the outcome is so artistic, so rustic, I can hardly stand it. What a fun DIY to start the new year off with. This flag I am in love with. Now, I know it is not the traditional flag. I have done one of those before. I will link that video in the description box below and on the end screen of this video. Because of the size of the brushes, I was really limited to what I could do to make it proportionate. And so in order to add 50 stars, it just wasn't gonna be proportionate because it was gonna be too long. And so I decided just to do it the way I did, and I love the look of it. I love the feel of it, and this is definitely a piece that I'll be hanging up in my house, and it will stay up year round. I hope you all enjoyed today's DIY using these wood wire brushes from the Dollar Tree. Please make sure to give this video a big thumbs up, and let's get this video to, you guessed it, 5,000 likes please, because like I always say, each and every one of your thumbs up and those comments that you leave down below, they really do help my channel to grow, and it helps YouTube to notice me just a bit more. Until next time everybody, I hope you have a fantastic day, happy crafting on a budget, and bye for now everybody.